Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. If you've been following the news and all the social blogs on YouTube and in the World Wide Web, including things that I've posted up, you'll notice that there's been a decline in the marriage rate and a decline in the birth rate, and there's more and more people living single lives. Now, the American and European establishments no doubt have taken notice of this rise on single people, and they could be starting to get worried. In America, the psychological investigators in the American establishment must be noticing it, and they're scratching their heads and wondering why. None of them address the MGTOW factor of this singlehood rise, but they are taking notice and they are starting to get worried. Because looking around yesterday, I found this. It's Psychology Today, and it was written by a lady called Wendy L. Patrick, a PhD, and this was written on the 3rd of September last year. It says why many men stay single. Self-assured and attractive, but there are things they won't give up. Many daters are reluctant to take relationships on the next level if it involves sacrificing autonomy and independence. For men, self-esteem is a significant predictor of being married or single by choice. For men and women, self-ratings of desirability do not directly predict marital status. Those are the key points. But if you drop down, you get this: deception of desirability. These two guys also looked at the impact of desirable traits on relationship status. They noted that, as a reference in current literature, such traits include intelligence, good character, appearance, social status, and resource acquisition potential. Now, if you take a step back and you look at what modern women want on all these various blogs, they want a guy who's intelligent, because the top tier guys, the top 1%, don't get there by being stupid. Good character, that means they have to have a outgoing characteristic, i.e. alpha males. They have to be appearance, that's 6 foot, 6-pack. Social status, which Andrew Tate talks about in various interviews, and resource acquisition potential. In other words, he's got to have a high amount of money coming in. In other words, this is the 90-10 rule or the 80-20 rule. Chad, 6 foot, 6-pack, 6-figure salary, and with masses of resources that a woman can go for. Now, the avoiding stigma and stereotyping, when considering the agenda, aspirations and relationship potential of single men, especially men who have aged out of their younger years, that would be me, we recognize that we shouldn't stereotype or stigmatize, but they do. But we also should recognize the potential adverse of ulterior explanations for resisting relationships. That could be a underhanded poke at MGTOW. Some self-assured men are simply single by choice. That could also be a poke at MGTOW. I'm pretty sure she knows what MGTOW is, but we have St. Valentine's Day 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Now, the Pew Research Center came out with this. This was done on February the 8th. For Valentine's Day, 5 facts about single Americans. Roughly 6 in 10 young men report being single in America. Overall, 3 in 10 US adults are single, meaning they are not married, living with a partner, or in a committed romantic relationship. Then it goes into the graphs. Now, looking at this with a MGTOW eye, look at the number of men, 18 to 29, the prime age group, the prime earning capacity. Those are guys that have been burnt in divorce. Those are guys who never get married. And I'm in this lot, except I'm over here in England, i.e. Britain. Same with women. 18 to 29 riding a cock carousel. Where have all the good men gone? Going on to the Tinder again, divorcees, and women looking after cats. Now if you drop down again, roughly 6 in 10 single adults in the US say they are not looking for a relationship or dates. 57% of that total. But these ones are casual dates only, committed romantic relationship only, 13%. Now if you drop down still, share of single men in the US who are looking for dates in a relationship has declined since 2019. Percentage of US adults who say they are looking for a committed romantic relationship and or casual dates. There's single guys, and there's single guys age 50, and single women. This could be the MGTOW effect. The type of single relationship single Americans are looking for varies by gender. 31% committed relationship, casual dates only, men and women. Less men wanting a committed relationship than women. And nearly half of single-looking adults have turned to online dating in the past year. See, the age 18-24, that would be the Tinder effect. Now, what does this tell me? She's probably single herself. The sales in corporate America for St. Valentine's Day could be quite low and down, not as much as they thought, because this was Pew Research Center, but corporate America, as in business news, also took it. For St. Valentine's Day, 5 research findings about singles from Pew Research. Now this was done on the 13th of February, about a week after the previous report. And then it says if you're single and feeling lonely on St. Valentine's Day, it might make you want to say, "Oh, Pew." The survey found that 30% of American adults surveyed were unmarried. The percentage was higher among adults under the age of 30, 21% between the ages of 30 and 49, and 30 of those 50 years or older. And then it goes on, roughly 6 in 10 young men report being unmarried. Most unmarried adults aren't interested in getting hit by Cupid's arrow. The percentage of single Americans looking for a relationship or casual dates is lower than 2019, especially among men. Now that, I would say, is the MGTOW effect. The type of relationship single Americans are looking for varies by gender. While 90% of men are looking for casual dates only, i.e. pump and dump, fewer single women, 15%, said the same. A greater percentage of single women are looking for only a committed romantic relationship. 41% of single women want to get married. In other words, she's had the fun and she wants to settle down with a beater because she finds out Chad doesn't want her anymore. Nearly half of seemingly single adults have turned to online dating in the past year. About half has meant 45%. Now, that is business news. I also found this, The Hill. This was done on the 22nd of February, or last week. Now, I should imagine The Hill is Washington, D.C.'s take on this. Most young men are single, most young women are not. Now, the American political establishment must be getting a bit worried that so many American guys don't want to get married, yet they don't understand the concept of the MGTOW philosophy and the reason why. And then again it says more than 60% of young men are single, nearly twice the rate of unattached young women. And it says, we're in a crisis of connection. Niobe Way, a psychological professor and founder of the Project for Advancement for Our Common Humanity at New York University. So the academics in America are starting to notice. Disconnected from ourselves and disconnected from each other, and it's getting worse. In worst case scenario, young American man's social disconnect can have tragic consequences. Then we have the old thing, young men committed suicide 4 times more than young women. Younger men are largely responsible for rising masses of mass shootings. Bullshit. That is probably due to a large amount of antidepressant pills, but also other things involve mass shootings, a trend some researchers link to the growing social isolation. But then again, they forget that guys have hobbies. That's why some guys are not doing things, but they haven't got a hobby. Most older men in America and here in Europe, they have hobbies. Women don't have hobbies. Social changes that began in the Eisenhower years have eroded the hierarchy that once ruled the American home, classroom and workplace. Well, it was government under Eisenhower and Truman which got women into the workplace. Women now collect nearly 60% of bachelor's degrees, but in what? Men still earn more, but among the youngest adults the income gap narrowed to $43 a week. Scholars say the new gender parity has reshaped relationship dynamics, empowering young women, and in many cases removing young men from the equation. But then again, we've got the MGTOW backlash on that. But they don't understand it. Women don't need to be in long-term relationships. Then in that case, why are so many women on TikTok complaining about not being in a long-term relationship? They don't need to be married. I don't need no man, in other words. They'd rather go to brunch with friends and have a horrible date. Recent years have seen a historic rise in unpartnered Americans, particularly among the young. The pandemic made things worse. And then it goes, referring to the research centre, this again. Not surprisingly, decline in relationships matches a stride with a decline in sex. Well, if you take the red pill, you find you don't have the thirst after a while, so that could probably be why. The share of sexual active Americans stands at a 30-year low. Around 30% of young men reported they had no sex in the past year. And only half of single men are actively seeking relationships or even casual dates. That figure is declining. And then it goes on and on and on. And then it says, we treat relationships as a luxury, especially Ben Ritter said, it's a necessity. That is the Hill. And the the New York Post, February the 27th, i.e. today, they jumped on the bandwagon. 6 out of 10 young men are single, the disturbing reasons why. And then it's more or less repeated all the previous articles, but with tabloid graphs so more people can understand it. US adults between 18 and 29 who are single. There's been a sharp increase. And then it goes on. US adults who say they are single men. The expectations of American men are also rising in the minds of women. According to Muscalandi expert at University of Akron, Professor Ronald Levant has added that unfortunately so many men do not have more to give. I suspect they have a lot to give, but women are too picky. But perhaps the larger issue now with young men, one highly impacting their social abilities, is that they are, as a whole, more lonely people than women. No, That's why guys have hobbies. In the early 1990s, 55% of reported to have 6 or more close friends. The percentage dwindled in 20 to 27 in 2021. And then here it goes. That's the thing. Women form friendships with each other, not mostly intimate. Of course, women are pack animals, whereas men do not. Of course, men can cope being on their own. Saga Wars, what the bloody hell's that? Never mind. Even while not dating, women have girlfriends and they spend time and gain emotional support from. In other words, the girlfriends have to approve of the boyfriend, otherwise she'll dump him. But it all boils down to the MGTOW effect is having an effect right across America, and the Valentine's Day sales are down because guys on their own don't want to buy stuff for women they're not in a relationship with. And businesses are starting to notice. That's why the politicians are also starting to notice. And the tabloids are also taking to notice, see it as a news item. There's 1,001 comments, you can read them yourself, but it all boils down to MGTOW is changing the American landscape, but the politicians and the American establishment don't want to face the elephant in the room. And the reason why MGTOW came into effect is a backlash with third and fourth wave feminism. If I find anything more on this, I'll do another video, but I think I'm way past my 10-minute mark now, so I'll leave it at that. Right, people, you all know the routine by now, so until next Monday, that's it. Bye-bye.